Yo, what's good everyone? Welcome back to another video. Let me just say before we start this video that this is going to be a special one. This is a student interview with one of my students, Alasdair. He joined around August time, like start of August, and it's only been 1.5 months. We set out a goal to reach, I think, 15 grand a month in the next 6 months to 12 months. Like end of year we're talking, we set that goal for. Instead, he's only gone and crushed that goal. He went from around 4 to 5k a month, barely breaking past that with him and his girlfriend's business, to now having 12.5 to 13,000 USD MRR alone, selling the same low ticket offer. All we did was I came in, I consulted on him with a few things such as DM closing, his objection handling, as well as some automations he could implement and some systems. Now we're at a point as well where we're maybe going to get a setter for him in the future. We're going to launch a high ticket program, but I really wanted to show this video and film it because number one is that your dreams and your goals can happen sooner than you anticipate if you actually lock in and you get a coach and you just take action and you're consistent. And number two is this guy is one of my best student testimonials yet. He's been following the channel for a while, and then it came to a point around August where he just hit a low point with him and his girlfriend's business, and he decided to reach out, had little to no objections, was just ready to go, was on board. And unsurprisingly, this is where it gets you guys. If you know exactly what you want and you're straightforward about it, these are the results that you can achieve. So without further ado, guys, this is Alasdair's experience working with me so far inside of the Oracle. Make sure you take notes, you like, comment, and you subscribe. If you want to work with me, link in the description. Yo, what's good everyone? Welcome back to another video. We have a special guest, another student interview, this time with Alasdair Yates. He joined the Oracle. He started working one-on-one with me about not even what was it, like 1 to 2 months ish?
Yeah, a month and a half ago, but about, yeah.
Yeah, around a month and a half ago. But time doesn't always equate to results. And I think Alasdair is the perfect example of that because he's absolutely not just done what he said he's going to do. He's absolutely blown by his target. He's absolutely crushed it. We'll talk more about that in detail in a second. But first, Alasdair, pleasure to have you on. Thanks for your time. Just tell me a little bit more about yourself, what you do, and what you're up to recently.
Yeah, cool. So I'm Alasdair. I'm basically head of sales, working with Cassie Schoonover. She's a content creator. We have a product which basically sells templated reels. So if you don't know what to post, you can essentially buy the service. It's $29 a month. But my job is I do a lot of different things, but what Matt's really helped me with is selling in the DMs. So I basically message everyone who's interested, and I follow them up on the ManyChat automation, and basically just have conversations with them.
Amazing. And your situation is quite different, brother, because when we first spoke, you're already on an offer, so we didn't have to really help with finding an offer. And you're very blessed to be in a position where the person you're working with happens to be your girlfriend, and she had a massive online presence to start off with. So that obviously is going to give it as an advantage, but there's always some things to fix. I remember you said you were kind of capped at a certain point. Could you just talk a bit more about where you guys were in business, how you were feeling at that point before you started working with each other, and how that felt?
Yeah, so I've worked with her for about a year now. We started dating about 3 months ago, after we met up in person. But MRR, the monthly recurring revenue, kind of hovered around 6 to 8,000 a month, which was okay. And slowly it went down and down and down. By the time it got to August, we had hit 4K. Like we were not even combined with everyone's wages and everything. It wasn't making any money. It was literally just paying for itself.
Yep.
So the point that we got to was the sales processes that we were doing, and the sales processes just weren't working. She would promote it, but people would kind of get stuck and not really buy, and we weren't optimizing the questions, and also just doing the right amount of volume, really.
Yep, got it. And this is just to, give some clarity for the audience. This is a low ticket, $29 a month. I know you played around with some free trials and maybe adjusting the pricing and the structure there, but mainly this isn't high ticket we're talking about. Down the line, we're going to think of launching that. But your case, you're selling a low ticket, but just relying on that volume game and getting that out there, right?
Essentially, yeah, it was doing 100 DMs a day, just to warm leads. In fact, we had a problem of almost too many leads, so I was having to only follow up with the best quality ones. It was a really good problem, but it also was overwhelming. So there was some days I was doing two, 300 messages. It was a lot.
Yep, 100%. What if you remember on our first call, what did you say you needed help with? What did you want me to help come in and fix you with? Just so again the audience knows where you were before, and maybe they can even relate.
Sure, sure. I think with I think when everything is volume, you want that volume to be optimized. I think what I really wanted you to help me with was making sure those conversations were as optimized as possible. So what was the best opening question that I could have? And what
Mhm.
was the best way that I could structure and lead a conversation? And eventually we did find that, but that was the main problem really. And also I think was tracking, making sure
Mhm.
I was held accountable to someone as well.
Okay, gotcha. So those main things. We had our call. You're like, let's do it, let's run it. Me and
Mm.
Cassie were all in, and I guess your attitude of being all in over these past 1.5 months is definitely shown. And I'm proud of how far you guys have come. Where are you guys at now with the business? Any big achievements that you hit along the way? And was it
Yeah.
what you expected?
Honestly, the results came a little quicker to the point of my brain has to kind of catch up with the results now. Like we still have the mentality that we're at 5K, but we have to remind ourselves like that's not where we are now.
Yep.
So when I came to you, we were at 5,000 a month, but just about paying for expenses. And then we were like, then once we started implementing this, we made some other changes as well, but really most of it came down from me just hitting the volume hard, Matt, holding me accountable, telling me I was being lazy when I was, just helping me with objection handling. Um, the beginning of August, we were at 5K, so all of July was probably at 5K. August, by the end of it, we ended up hitting, what was it? I think 8K. And then, but we're almost at the end of September now, where we're at 13K MRR, which is like almost three times where we're at, which is just insane.
Insane. Hold on
Yeah.
there. You said MRR, right?
Yes. Yes.
MRR alone. So guys, that means monthly recurring, provided that people don't cancel, which I'm sure that your cancellation rate's super low. But that's coming in every single month. That's not even on top of new sales. So if I had to guess, they're probably doing a lot more than just $13,000 every single month on top of like new sales for their offer. So yeah, it's been absolutely crazy. It's been a wild ride. I wanted to get this call because I wanted to show you guys that it is possible. The things that you
Mm,
want in life and that you're aiming for your business can happen a lot sooner than you think if you have the
yeah.
same sort of mentality that Alasdair had. And I wanted to strike while the iron's hot. I'm just going to be real. Like you're doing well. I only see it going up from here, and I'm sure
Mm,
down the line, the guys will be able to see the progress you made, and we'll look back on this video and just see it as like a memory, because this is
yeah.
only the beginning.
I hope so. I hope so. We're not letting it like get to our head because sometimes you can let it slow you down. But I mean, it's weird. Like never before have we kind of hit those numbers. This is the most the product's ever made, and it's just like for everyone, the team, we fought so hard for this. So it like finally feels like the fighting was worth something, and now it's just we're just
Yeah.
going above and beyond every expectation we had.
I want to talk about that more.
Mm,
Because you're a hardworking guy yourself, brother. And you've been working hard even before we started working with each other. Like you
yeah.
said, you're hammering out DMs, putting in the volume 100 a day, if not more. On top of that, you're doing some other stuff for Cassie as well in the business, like the copywriting. So you're not just a appointment setter for her. You're
Mm,
kind of like head of marketing. You're overseeing the whole thing. No, a lot of people in this space who teach high ticket sales, appointment setting, they like to glamorize it as, hey, you can sit by the beach and you can work only a couple hours a day and have pina coladas the rest of the day and chill and you're making money. Now, you and I both know it's not always the case, and it
mm.
will take time and sacrifice and commitment on your end. So my question is kind of break down, or could you just describe how much time commitment you were putting in and sort of the graph that you had to put in?
Yeah, it was a lot to be honest. I feel like a lot of videos you see online and a lot of people like they promise if they're promising you can work a lot less and get a higher result. I don't know, that always I don't know it always sounds a little dodgy, but like when someone says like, hey, you're gonna have to put in a shit ton of work, but I can promise you this, that's the person that you should believe. And like I probably do 8, 9 hours a day of work, like every day. I don't take a day off. I take some days off where I'm like only 4 or 5 hours, but it is relentless. Like it is wake up, go to the gym, come back and just sit at the computer and chill a little bit in the evening. That's basically the routine on top of doing everything. It's a lot, but
Yep.
like it. if it wasn't a lot, then it wouldn't be worth it.
Yeah. Would you say this is worth it?
Of course. Yeah, I would, there's nowhere else or any other person I'd rather be on Earth right now than where I am now. Like, I'm exactly where I need to be because of the things that I've done.
What do you feel like when I stepped in, we had our calls, you were actually like
Mm.
diving deep into the process of the mentorship now and we were helping you out. What were like the key things that stuck in mind or that come to mind that I helped you with the most? Kind of maybe took some work off your plate, made things easier. Like which part would you say like sticks out to you or a couple parts?
Two main areas, I think, which was the resources. If I needed anything, Matt had something. It's actually like it's like I'm getting Google for the first time, and I'm in the 90s basically of like I don't know where can I
Um,
find a tracking sheet, and Matt's like, oh, here's five different ones you can look at. It's just like this would take me 4 or 5 hours looking myself, like trying to follow up freebies on random people's pages, but this is like guaranteed certified to work. I also think the network as well is just amazing. The quality of people in there are just fantastic. Like I don't see expanding your network ever as a negative thing. Like you don't the problem with the
no,
network is you can't even quantify what it's worth because it's worth so much. Like knowledge is power, and having other
yep,
people's knowledge is infinite power, really.
yep,
But
100%.
for me, the main thing that Matt helped with was understanding sales. And what was nice was, especially with my offer, is because I was having all these conversations. It's just, I had to like get the bare bones and understand the sales process as much as possible. I feel like my knowledge of, even though I didn't do like in-person closing, I feel like I would be 5 times better at it because I understand the process of what needs to happen in the buyer's mind. Specifically for me, I think it was handling the objections before you even start the closing process, handling those
Mm.
objections and doing that in a way that feels really natural. But by the time the closing comes, objections never really showed up unless it was just kind of on price essentially. That was the only real objections because everything else was handled already. So all I was doing was essentially handling the price objection, which eventually I got get good at as well. And of course you'll never close everyone, but it's getting those
Yeah,
numbers up and up.
well said. Not gonna close every deal, but it's your job to get as close into every closing every deal as you can. All just
Yeah.
comes down to competence. How'd you get competent? Just do the thing over and over again and make sure you're doing it right. That's where the mentor comes in. I want to shift gears a little bit. And, we talked about where you were before, in terms of
Mm,
revenue, the business itself, very nitty-gritty, like analytical stuff, and then where you are after, how it's looking now. I want to shift gears a little bit and talk about personal life, about
mm,
things outside of business, your mentality, your
mm,
mindset, your
mm.
emotions. 1.5 months ago, how are you feeling? How is, the state of the business at where it was before? How is it kind of affecting you past you, maybe positively, negatively? Did you feel like you were stagnant? And what sort of goals did you have in mind, like outside of business? Like, what did you want to be able to do? What have you been able to do like now?
I think before the business was always going well. We were able to do some nice things. I was able to visit her in America, but it was never in a point where we could really think big. There was kind of a scarcity mindset of, oh,
Mm.
this program looks nice. And I was like, oh, but we don't have the funds to support that. But being able to increase the revenue literally got us to the point where we were in the UK. Cassie had come and visit for 2 months, and then we were just like, "You want to go to Greece next week?" It was like, "Yeah, screw it," because we could. We literally had we hired someone else as well to help us with the landing page. We were just reinvesting all of that extra profit and throwing it right back in, and so being able to just have that spontaneous, yeah, let's go to a country we've never been to just for a week, just for fun. And we went there for
Love
seven
it.
days. I'm like, let's stay for another three. Like being able to just do that is just that's freedom. That's what you're fighting for, right? For me, I can't wait one day to be able to give back to my family, but we're not there. We're not there yet. It's going to take pushing and a lot more. But the feeling now is getting that taste of freedom of like I never think twice about buying a lot of things. The other day I spent maybe I shouldn't say this, but I spent like $400 on a blood test because I was like, I have the funds to. I can just if I want to.
Wow.
Now I'm gonna try and get testosterone up and do all the biomarker stuff. But that's really where the freedom has come from. So yeah. That's it.
I don't know why. Like, what's going through my mind right now when we're talking is just like the conversations we had on that first call, and then prior to that, because I know you've been following for a minute. We've kept in touch here and there.
Mm.
Um, I guess what was the point, or what was like that shift that made you want to say, screw it, let's take on that next step. Let's see if we can get Matt's help. Considering the fact that we've been in touch for a while, I guess what was that
Mm.
shift that happened?
I mean, I think over time, watching your content, the trust just builds more and more and more, and giving out so much free value just of course builds that trust. I mean, Cassie knows that. That's kind of the whole shtick with content. But I
Yeah,
think for me, it was the point at which we had reached this dip, and we just needed to fix a few things. And I was willing to just invest in a mentorship because I thought getting this dialed in will immediately bring us back, and it did. And I knew that because you're very trustworthy, not only in the content, but also on the call. You're like, hey, I can't guarantee anything, but I have high hopes, and here's some things that I think are going to be likely. And I think the fact you were just so straight and cut, and you promised exactly what you could promise was amazing.
thank you, brother. Again, like we said off camera, I can only give the sauce, I can give the roadmap and tell you what to do, but it's going to be down to, it's also just as down to the student. It's down to the mentee. They have to put in the work. I say that
Yeah,
because I don't want this video to go out and attract the wrong people and think, oh, if I work with Matt and I invest in him, oh, it's all in a silver platter. I can do that, but it's going to be down to you to whoever's watching. If you decide to make that
mm,
next step and take that jump and work with me, just know it's not going to be a game. I will hold you
yeah,
accountable to the highest standard, and look where it got you, though. It's worth it.
it is. It is. Look, any amount of change that anyone takes is going to be painful because you're moving your identity. You have to go from someone who doesn't have a mentor to, okay, I've got a mentor now. And what's nice about a mentor is that they're gonna force the truth down your throat. That's essentially what they're doing. They're saying, "Hey, you didn't reach the target you needed to today, and you just need to be. You need to be holding yourself accountable. If you can't hold yourself accountable to yourself, you need someone else to hold yourself accountable to." A bit of a mouthful, but yeah. And that was a really amazing aspect for me too. So thank you.
Obviously being someone who, like we said, who's watched a ton of the videos, who's kept in touch for a while, um, and you're a hard worker, you're a grinder, and you're willing to do what it takes. But let's say people are watching this right now and they're on the fence. They know what they
Mm,
need to do at the end of the day. You kind of answered this already, but they know what they need to do at the end of the day. They want to make it work for them and their family, but they're just on the fence. Maybe it's just fear. Maybe it's just uncertainty. They don't know how it's going to go. What if it fails? If, let's say that in this case, that third person was here today and they're listening to our conversation, what would you say to them?
I think I'd say, what's your why? Like, what are you doing it for? Because if you really well, because once you figure out your why, like your real purpose, then you figure out what holds you back. And it's really easy to squish out, okay, am I scared of investing in myself because I want to keep all this money for me? I want as much money as possible just so I can have nice cars and fancy watches. Or
Mm.
am I getting this money so that I can build something, so I can help people, so I can solve a problem and build a business on that, give back to my family, or build a charity eventually and help others? Once you have your why sorted, and once you figure that out, then you can align everything else. Because whenever you get on any call with anyone, they're always going to ask you, what's your why? And you need your story set out, not only for them, but for yourself. So you can wake up every day, remind yourself who you are, and remind yourself the things that you need to do.
What would you say your why is if you don't mind me asking? And where do you see life going in the next 6 to 12 months or even in the far future?
It is a little scary, and this is just low ticket. Eventually, we want to launch a higher ticket. I think the 2026 is going to be the month we try and get to 100K a month in revenue for everyone. I myself personally want to be doing at least 10K a month of that. Um, I want to start paying back to my parents and to my dad because he's struggling with his mortgage at the moment, and he's turning 67 and he's still going to be working a 9 to 5 job. And I don't want to have that. I'm willing to sacrifice a lot of my youth so that I can give back to him because he helped me a lot. He was a great dad, and I'd hate to see him, rotting away in his office chair when, I'm living my life. I'd rather give back to him and help him live a bit more of his. That's my longer term goal. And beyond that, I think just achieving more freedom, just so that I can give back to people and also Now I'll see where God takes me as well.
Amen. Yep. It's gonna happen. I'm saying it with certainty because you know it's the only way. It's the only way for things to happen is if you speak it with complete certainty and you put out in the universe. Because God, at the end of the day, whether you're watching this, you're religious or not, the viewer, it's like you can call it the universe, you call it God, but I'm a big believer. Alasdair's a big believer that whatever he has, whatever the universe or God has in plan for us is far greater than what we could ever imagine. So this is only the
Yeah.
tip of the iceberg. We've come this far, and I just can't wait what the future holds, and what God or the universe has in store for us. I do want to ask as well. I should have asked earlier, but how's Cassie? How's she finding the growth? How's she been experiencing and through her own lens? If you can talk in her behalf, because she's in America right now. But what do you think?
Mm-mm.
How's it been for her personally?
I think it's been amazing. I think that just having everything dialed in, her business used to be so stressful for her, and it still is. You know, being the head of a business and especially team and paying people's wages is stressful.
Yep. Yep.
But for her, that stress is like minus 60% now, just because like, oh, we don't have enough. Well, that's what we do now. So the main pain point that she had for her stress is just completely evaporated. It's now the stress is, well, what's the best thing to do with that extra spare cash that we have? Do we, go on a nice holiday? Do we just save it up? Do we invest it again? But right now, it's literally, yeah. I just for her, the stress has just been decreased so much because we've managed to get the play business from a place of, I mean, barely paying for itself to three times its its cost, and yeah, it's amazing.
Good problems to have, brother. These are problems that we should be having.
That's
Deciding.
all life is giving yourself better and better problems.
Yep, exactly. All right, I think we'll cap it off here. One last thing. Do you have
Mm,
anything else? Any thoughts, comments about that you'd like to tell the viewers? Again, we talked about this in the whole thing, but is there anything else that comes to mind that you want to say to anyone watching this? Maybe they were in your position before.
mm. I'd say if you're on the fence, just watch all of Matt's content because I don't know anyone. No, literally, there is so much free value there. Just absorb all of it if you don't think, yeah, is this guy on? Like, I had no doubt in my mind that Matt was who he said he was. Just watch everything, take in all the free value, and watch that work. And after that, there's no second questions about wanting to work with him because I was on board before we already even started messaging, honestly.
Okay, well said, Alasdair. Well, we'll wrap it up here. Nice
Mhm.
and concise, nice and quick. Alasdair, again, thank you so much for your time. I know you're a busy man, you and Cassie, and you have a flight tomorrow to catch. So thank you for making the time to hop on call and film this together. It's going to help a lot of people out, that's for sure. I wouldn't be surprised if people
100%.
reach out to you as well and maybe they ask you for some advice or two or just see you as an inspiration.
Yeah.
So yeah, exactly. And with that being said, I'll link Alasdair's Instagram in the description if you want to reach out to him. I'll link mine in the description as always. And not much more has to be said. You heard Alasdair. You can go through the rest of my student interviews and the rest of my content. And when you're ready, I will see you guys on the other side. Link in the description. But anyways, this is a great call, man. Thank you for hopping on. And we'll see the channel and we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.